Hello. Been a while since I've done one of these. Uh, the particular thing that I'm doing, not a video. I do at least 2 videos a week now, but these are a bit more random. Though I should have some more coming up soon. Um, so what am I doing tonight? Well, for starters, I'm not that tired. I wish I was actually more tired. It's past 3 a.m. I should actually be more tired, but whatever. I mean, I took melatonin like an hour ago. That's neither here nor there. What am I here reviewing tonight? Well, I should have a title card that should have fucking let you know. But in case you missed that or forgot about it, I'm talking about the movie Army of the Dead, the new Zack Snyder flick that was released on Netflix, I think last week. I don't know. I watched it tonight. I watched it as part of the Saturday Night Sci-Fi uh, watch along. We all tweet comments on the movie and with the same hashtag, so you see everybody's. It's a fun little thing. Um, yeah. Um, where do I even start with this movie? Let's start with the positives. For a movie that was made for $70 million on Netflix, it looks fairly good. Somebody pointed out there was a lot of a lot of jumpy editing choices, which are true. But it's a very fast-paced action flick. Fast-paced, but still somehow like 2.5 hours long. But it didn't feel super long. It's pretty action-packed for the most part. It has a great opening credit scene where they basically explain things. But like I said, for a $70 million movie made for Netflix, it looks pretty fucking good. Uh, the zombies look good. There were good special effects for the ones they had. Um, Basically, there's like a cold open to the movie where you see a military convoy transporting something, but they don't know what they're transporting. In fact, the guys in the truck that are transporting it are like making these wild guesses about what they could be transporting. And then coming at them is some couple that got married in Las Vegas. And the wife starts giving her new husband Roadhead. And this is key lesson. Don't do Roadhead. I know it sounds interesting, and of course, the idea of getting your dick sucked in an impromptu situation is always awesome. But just pull over to the side of the road and get your dick sucked. Don't fucking do it while driving. That's distracted driving, and distracted driving is dangerous. Um, so yeah, of course, as this is the first key that this movie is predictable as fuck. Like, you can see everything in it coming a mile away. There is nothing you can't see coming in this movie. It is the most predictable shit ever. Um, so of course, what happens while the guy's getting roadhead? He's not paying attention. The guys in the military convoy aren't paying attention because they're joking around, and the guy crashes in the military convoy, knocks over the big container thing that they're carrying, and well, what was inside? What were they transporting? They were transporting a zombie. They were transporting this really big, super fast zombie that none of the soldiers seem to be able to hit, and just tears through them. And he in typical zombie fashion, he transforms them with a bite. And then after he transforms the whole troop of soldiers into his new zombie servants, what do they look and see? They look out over a cliff and they're standing in front of Las Vegas. And then the opening credits just show a montage of several of the main characters and about how Vegas slowly falls under this zombie horde until it's completely quarantined by the U.S. government. And then you get the story about how the President of the United States has ordered the Las Vegas to be nuked, and it's happening in a couple days. and that some of the survivors that got out of Vegas are now being held in like these quarantine camps to make sure they're not infected and that they don't get sick. They're like refugees in their own country because they don't have anywhere else to go, and they want to make sure that they're not infected. Even though it's zombies, it's infected by bite, but they can't be certain, so blah blah blah. So you have camps where people aren't being treated well, and you have some people that are still trying to like sneak back into Vegas to like get things that they left behind and shit. And there's like this one woman who's acting like a coyote by ushering people into Vegas. Anyways, there's not a, like there's this movie had good casting for like all the roles they had, but nobody like is super famous in it. There's a lot of like, oh yeah, I kind of know them actors. Like there's that Japanese actor. What the fuck is his name? Hiroyuki Sanada. He's been showing up in a lot of stuff recently. Like he was in the recent Mortal Kombat movie, and you know you got guys like Garrett Dillahunt, and Theo Rossi, both who have relatively small roles and are basically you can just see that they're going to be assholes who are going to die bad deaths in the movie. You're not going to really care because they're assholes, and of course it's what happens to both of them. The main star is Dave Bautista, who's known for playing Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's pretty good. I don't know if he's exactly leading man material though. I mean, he like I said, he's good, but he ain't exactly the fucking Rock, you know. But whatever, he was fine. Another thing that I did like about this movie, on top of like how good the special effects and everything were, and the makeup was to make the zombies look good, it's a different twist on a zombie movie because at its heart, it's essentially a heist flick. Like Hiroyuki Sanada plays this rich guy who hires Dave Bautista to basically break into a vault underneath the Vegas Strip. Because apparently inside this vault there's $200 million, and he tells them that it's that considering that nobody knows that it's going to be getting out of Vegas, that it's will be untaxable and untraceable money. And he says, like, if you get this money out of Vegas, I'll let you keep 50 million of it, and you can split that up amongst whatever team you get to help you. So Batista, in the opening montage, you saw like what he did in Vegas and how he got out, and he got out with like the help of like other people, like these two other people, and he goes like one's a woman and the other's this big black dude, and he goes and finds them, and he basically offers them, he's like, we'll split our cut like 15 million, and then 15 million a piece, and then whoever we have left will split, we'll divvy up a 5 million amongst them for whoever else we need to recruit. It's like, seems like a pretty fair gig. So they find like this Mexican, almost like a gangbanger type guy who's like got famous on the internet because he like snuck into Vegas at certain points and would like kill zombies and shit, and he was like that's like his like internet personality, kind of like what I'm doing, but way more interesting. Then they have to go get a helicopter pilot, so they get a helicopter pilot played by Tig Notaro, who's okay, certainly not the best actress comedian turned actress I've ever seen, but she's fine. She doesn't have, no one has a particularly big role in this movie other than Dave Bautista. So they get her, she's like a helicopter pilot slash mechanic, which they need, and then they also need, of course, they're breaking into a vault at the bottom of a casino, so they also need a locksmith. So they get this German guy named Dieter who's a locksmith, and he tells them he can do it. And so they kind of all assemble and they get ready to go in, and Batista goes and contacts this woman who works as a volunteer in the refugee camps right outside of Vegas because he needs her help sneaking in. And it turns out she's his daughter, and they're kind of estranged. But he tells her that, if he helps her, like, this could be like $15 million, and that, he'll give her some, and that it could be good for them. And so she agrees to do it. And when they get into the camp, she introduces her father and his heist crew to the coyote woman who's sneaking people into Vegas, so she can sneak them into Vegas. And she agrees to come, but she also agrees to come if they bring Theo Rossi's character, who's like one of the guards who works in the camp, and he's like an asshole, and you can tell he's like this kind of like motherfucker who uses position to take advantage of people, particularly women. And she has him come along, and you can tell that nobody likes him right away because he's highly unlikable. The problem is she also had, just before, stuck some woman into Vegas who has kids, and Dave Bautista's daughter, who's, I forget the actress name, but in the movie her name is Kate. She gets angry that the coyote snuck her friend in and then left her behind. She goes, yeah, sometimes people get left behind. And she says she then forces her father to take her with him so she can like look for her friend. And the father at first is like, no, it's like, listen, we'll keep an eye out for your friend, but if we don't, I'm not taking you with me because it's super dangerous and you're not prepared for this because you're not like a fucking gun-toting soldier like the rest of us, which is a good fucking point. But the girl, Kate, she insists, and she says, listen, if you don't, I'll sneak in on my own anyways, and then I'll be there on my own. And you could just tell right away, like, this chick is an asshole and she's going to cause a problem somewhere down the line. And of course she fucking does. So when they get in, right away the coyote chick shoots Theo Rossi in the leg, and then basically says that she brought him specifically for the purpose that he could be a sacrifice, because some of the zombies are smarter than others. That's another thing I liked about this movie, is that the zombies weren't your just typical mindless horde of zombies like in your Night of the Walking Dead or your Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, which Zack Snyder also did the remake of that, which I liked actually better than this movie. But they're not just your typical mindless horde of zombies. Like earlier, they come in, they show that there's just like a pile of zombies like right outside, like just lying on the ground, and they go like, what happened to them? And they're like, well, it's the heat. The heat got to them, and they all just sort of like fried their brains or something like that. They said that sometimes when it rains, they come alive though, so I guess they still react to water or like being cooled down a little bit. But anyways, she shoots Theo Rossi, leaves him for a sacrifice, and then two zombies that seem to act... Well, they also see a zombie tiger when they first come in, but these two zombies come and collect Theo Rossi, and they seem to almost like understand. She says it's a sacrifice, a way to like, get them to, like back off them while they're in Vegas. And they take him to this casino where the zombies have like set up camp. And like what I was saying about how, one thing I liked about this movie is that it was different from other movies. There's like a pack mentality hierarchy to the zombies. Like there's the prime zombie, the one that the military was transporting. He's like the zombie in charge. He's like the king. He's like the smartest one, and he creates all these other zombies called alphas. Now, in the beginning of the movie, I said that like he was smart, and not only was he smarter, well, I mean, not only was he smart, but he was also like really fast. He wasn't just like a slow zombie. He could like, react to shit and dodge and shit. And he was like really fast and strong. And so any zombie he creates with his bite becomes an alpha zombie, which is also like fast and strong and can think more like him. And like he has like a female zombie who's like he's almost like his queen, and he's basically the king, and all the zombies just follow his rule. And he bites Theo Rossi to turn him into one of the alphas. Anyway, at one point they all decide to go through, like, the coyote woman who's guiding them. She says, like, hey, don't, like, let's not walk around outside, let's go inside for some reason. So for some reason they decide to go through a building that's filled with zombies, and they're all just kind of like, the zombies are like asleep, so they have to like follow this path. They have like these little glow sticks they leave on the ground, but Garrett Dillahunt, who's works for Hiroyuki Sanada's character, he right away like starts fucking with them. He moves one of the glow sticks, and one of the women who's there follows the wrong path and starts waking up some of the zombies, and the zombies go off, and she ends up getting fucking killed. The funny thing is she gets killed at a point where she's being bitten. Now, the thing is, they're all carrying these big gasoline canisters, because the reason they needed a pilot is because the building they're going into has a helicopter on top of it. So the helicopter pilot needs to go up while they're trying to break into the vault. The helicopter pilot needs to go up to the roof, fix up the helicopter, and fill it with gas. And they also need to fill up the generator with gas so they can turn on the power in the building. So they have to bring gasoline with them. So they're all carrying like a canister of gasoline. So when this one woman dies, when she's getting bitten, the guy who brought her like shoots the gasoline canister and it blows up, and I'm just like, that's not how gasoline canisters work. If you just shot a gasoline canister, all you would do was put a leak in it. It wouldn't cause it to blow up. You'd have to put a source of ignition, and a bullet's not good enough for that, especially on a plastic gasoline canister. So, already that's kind of ridiculous. But, it's a zombie movie, so we're already way past the point of ridiculousness. So, yeah, Garrett Dillahunt fucks with that situation and gets someone killed. So you can already tell he's a piece of shit. They get to the casino they need to get to. And, they send the locksmith down with two of the people to, like, break into the vault. There's, like, booby traps for the vault that they have to use some of the zombies to get through. And when they do, it's his turn to just break into the vault, while Tig Notaro plays the fucking helicopter pilot, starts trying to fix up the helicopter, but it's like a fucked up old mess. And while that happens, Garrett Dillahunt goes out and scouts around with the coyote woman, and they're like doing something. They wait at the same spot where they met the two alpha zombies before, including like the prime zombie's queen. And when they do that, Garrett Dillahunt ties up the queen, and they kill the other alpha zombie, and then he cuts off the queen's head, because that's the real reason he was there, was to get at the head of one of the alpha zombies. How he even knew alpha zombies were a thing, but they don't really get into details like that. When that happens, Dave Bautista has a heart-to-heart with his daughter's character. That was pointless. Apparently, when he had to break out of when everything first went to shit in Vegas, he had to kill his wife because she turned, and he thinks that's why his daughter hates him. But the real reason she hates him is because he like just kind of detached from her after that and left her alone. So, which is a good reason. And then he has a heart-to-heart with the woman, like the first woman he recruits, who he knew from when they both escaped from Vegas, and they kind of like reveal that they're like sort of in love with each other and shit. And they get the vault open. They find a little bit of money in some of the cases before the vault. And they get the vault open. They start bagging up the money. The prime zombie finds his queen's head cut off, and he gets furious. So he puts on like a metal helmet, which seems stupid at first until you realize he's doing it to cover his head so he can't be shot in the head, which is actually really smart. And then he basically gathers a zombie army and attacks the hotel they're in. So that's already one part going to hell. Oh, also, before they even got the vault open, they realized that the president had moved up his timetable to nuke Vegas. So where they thought they had 24 hours before they had to leave, they now only have about 2 hours. So they're kind of like, oh, well, we're on a really big clock here. Prime Zombie shows up with his army, fucks everything up. The German, the big black dude tries to fight the Prime Zombie, gets his ass handed to him. The German locksmith guy, who seemed like the two of them were going to be kind of at odds at first, he pulls the big black dude aside and like throws him in the vault and closes the vault so he can't be attacked. And you see him like getting pulled away so he can be killed just as that's happening. They find another access point to escape, and Garrett Dillahunt basically leaves everyone behind. And as he's trying to escape, he's attacked by the zombie tiger and gets really fucked up. Also, Kate, Dave Bautista's daughter, she just sneaks off at one point. She just completely sneaks off to go find her missing friend, who is still alive, oddly enough. And, yeah, then after that, a bunch of people just start dying. They try to escape from the hotel. And right away, the woman that Dave Bautista was, like, in love with, like, the elevator just opens and there's zombies right there, and the prime zombie just grabs her head and just twists it completely around. So he just kills her right away. It's like, Jesus Christ. And then it's just a proceeding of them trying to get out. They basically don't get any money. They find out that the whole thing was just a setup, just because the only reason Garrett Dillahunt was there was because he just wanted the zombie head. They wanted the prime zombie head because his boss, like, they see it as the key to immortality, which leads you to believe that maybe why they had that prime zombie to begin with. He was some sort of experiment for, like, a joint effort by rich guys in the military to try to create some sort of immortal, unkillable soldier. That would be my guess. They don't really come out and say that. But yeah, then it's just a procession of just losing everyone they have left until it's, even the coyote chick gets fucking killed. I liked her. Until it's basically just Dave Bautista and Tig Notaro. And he asks her to go to another hotel so he can get his daughter, because she had to be an annoying asshole. So he goes and tracks her down, and Theo Rossi, the alpha zombie, is now there, and she kills him, and then the prime zombie shows up, and she's shooting. One thing I noticed in this movie, everyone is a crack shot. Everyone is just like can fucking nail headshots on moving targets, because all the zombies move pretty fast. And even this girl who seems to have no experience as a military person, she's just with a pistol, one-handed, just nailing headshots. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, they manage to escape, and then as they're escaping, they're taking way too long. Like, they get to the roof with his Dave Bautista and his daughter and her friend who she went to go look for, who's still alive. And the helicopter's gone because Tig Notaro's character left, but then she comes back, and it's like, whatever. They're all taking too long. Just like, get on the helicopter, get out. There's a fucking nuclear weapon coming. No, they have like 9 minutes. It's like, and all of a sudden you realize like the prime zombie is now behind them, and they get on the helicopter and they try to just fly away as quickly as possible, but he jumps onto the helicopter and fights Dave Bautista, And there's a great scene where you see the helicopter escaping. Like this is where they put their CGI, and it looks great. And yeah, so Dave Bautista's character fights the prime zombie. He gets pretty fucked up, gets bit, but he manages to shoot it and kill it. Also in the fight, he accidentally shoots Tig Notaro, so she's bleeding while she's flying, so that doesn't go well. And then they see the nuclear weapon hit Vegas and just completely destroy it. And, you know, the shockwave of the explosion and Tig Notaro bleeding causes the helicopter to crash. And Kate, Dave Bautista's daughter, is the only survivor. Makes no sense. She shouldn't have survived this crash. No one should have survived this crash. But she survives the crash. And so does he, technically. He's still alive. But since he's, like, bit and all fucked up, he's going to die. So they have a heart-to-heart. And he gives her, you know, what little money he did manage to hold on to from the vault heist. And so they walked away with nothing. And she's the only one left. And then her father turns into a zombie because he got bit, and she has to shoot him in the head. And they show that no, this whole thing was pointless. Oh, they even found out that there was a team that came in before them at one point, so that was funny. Oh yeah, and the black guy survived because he was in the vault, so he survived the zombies, he survived the nuclear explosion, so he gets out of the vault. So this is one of the few movies where it subverted the expectation and the black guy survives because a white guy risked his life to save his. So, ooh, subverting expectations. So the black guy escapes, and he escapes with like all the money. I don't know if it was all the money, but he walked out with like several bags of the fucking money. And then he goes and he just goes and buys a private not helicopter. He goes and buys like a private plane and just decides to go to, like, I think Mexico City or something. But while he's there, he's not feeling well, and you realize, oh, it's because he got bit. It's like, how he survived this long after being bit is anyone's guess, but now you know it's like, oh, well, this infection isn't over because he's taking it somewhere else. And that's basically just how the movie ends. And, yeah. A few weird things to mention. It's like, it went against the normal tone, and it subverted expectations a little bit. But like I said, it also ultimately ended up being super predictable. You saw everything coming a mile away. You saw that somebody, with the nuclear missile coming, you knew that somebody was going to hide in the vault. I thought all of them were going to hide in the vault to escape it. That's what I would have done. It's like, well, if the missiles are exploding, like, let's just do that. Let's just get in there, like, and then when we come out, like, the fucking everything, all the danger will be gone, and we'll have all the money. But yeah, fuck it. There was also a scene where one of the characters shoots a zombie in the face and has, like, it's like a robot underneath, and that's never explained in any way, shape, or form. Like, what the fuck was that? Was there just a cyborg zombie? You're like, why was there a cyborg zombie? What the fuck did that have to do with anything? And then also at one point, after the black guy escapes, you see him, like, walking towards, like, this car to get in it, and, like, they start playing the song Zombie by the Cranberries. It's like, I never even considered that I would hear this movie in a zombie movie, because it makes no sense. Other than the fact that that the song is called Zombie, it has nothing to do with zombie movies. It's not about a zombie. That's not what the song's about. It's like a protest song against, like, all the violence in fucking Ireland back in the fucking 90s. Like the 80s and 90s. It's like a protest song about, like, fucking it's like, this isn't appropriate for this kind of movie. That was an example of Zack Snyder thinking he's clever when he's not, which is why I find it hard to like him. There's a lot of his movies that I have not liked. There's a few I have, but there's a lot of them I haven't. And I don't understand. Like, I don't want to be a hater towards him, but I don't understand the undying love for him either. I don't know what people are seeing that I'm not. I see a guy who's very presumptuous and who seems to think he's way more intelligent and more talented than he actually is. I see him as a very basic director at best. But every now and then a basic person can pull something good out. Basic doesn't mean bad, it just means basic. But yeah, overall this is a pretty whatever movie. Like, the casting was decent. I like the subversion of the normal zombie tropes by adding like the hierarchical pack mentality with like a smarter, more developed leadership type zombies, and the special effects were pretty good. But on the negative side of things, the editing was super jumpy. It was a little long. It was super predictable, and the story is pretty fucking basic. All in all, it's a whatever movie. If you got nothing better to do and you need like 2.5 hours to kill, fuck it. If it's something you were like really looking forward to, I got bad news for you. Unless you like really stupid zombie flicks, you're probably gonna be a little disappointed. I'd give it kind of a thumb up, I guess. It's alright. I'm never gonna watch it again. I have no desire to ever watch it again. But I guess it's whatever. It's a whatever movie. That's my description. It's a whatever movie. I don't hate it, but I sure as shit don't love it either. So yeah, that's it. Zombieland. Not Zombieland. Zombieland's a good movie. Army of the Dead. Kind of a thumb up, whatever movie. On Netflix. Hopefully we'll have something better to talk about next time. Oh man, that took really long. Shit. Alright, I gotta go to bed. I'm fucking getting tired now. Until next time, y'all. Have a good one.